Welcome back to part 6. In this video on inverse functions, we're going to look at the tangent function. Recall that a tangent function has a period of negative pi over 2 to pi over 2. And if we wanted to find the inverse of this tangent function, we would reflect it about the line y equals x. So as you can see in this second sketch, this here is the line y equals x, and the function that sits, the tangent function that sits about the origin gets flipped or reflected about this line, and now originally we had a domain that existed on the interval, at least about the origin, from negative pi over 2 to pi over 2. And we had a range from negative infinity to infinity, or we could say that it was all real numbers. But now we are reflecting it. So everything that was an x is now a y, and everything that was a y is now an x. And so now our domain is all real numbers, and our range goes from negative pi over 2 to pi over 2. Now let's take a look at the definition of the inverse tangent function. The inverse tangent function is the function tan to the negative 1 with domain r, all real numbers, and range, negative pi over 2 to pi over 2, defined by the fact that if you take the tan inverse of x, you get y, and if you take the tangent of y, you get x. Note, some instructors in textbooks will call the inverse tangent the arctangent and denote it as the arctan. So we have the following cancellation properties, just like before. Tangent of tan inverse of x equals x for x in the real numbers, and tan inverse of tangent of x equals x for the interval from negative pi over 2 to pi over 2. You will find this helpful when solving angles within the functions, but also when looking at domain and range restrictions.